our lesson number 10, Ancient India Culture. We will learn that in ancient period of history, what kind of science were used in ancient period of time, because in science includes medicine, astronomy, mathematics, this kind of things were included. So what kind of medicines were using, mathematics were using, which is that we are learning now. Now the medicine. The Indian medical science is known as Ayurveda. So student, it is very important as in the point of the fill in the blanks. So what is mean by the Ayurveda? Ayurveda means Indian medical science. What is mean by Ayurveda? Indian medical science. So it has a very old tradition. So students in the this lecture in history, sorry, not in English lecture, that you have the Sushruta. You have a lesson related to the Sushruta. Write in the chat box yes or no. Yes or no? Very good. So who was Sushruta? Who was Sushruta? Give answer in a chat box. Who was Sushruta? He was student. Okay, then another. What kind of education he is taking? Father of plastic surgery. Okay, Zan. Good. Animal medicine, veterinary. Very good, Aditya Shinde, that he was the veterinary. So basically, this Sushruta was from ancient, he was in ancient period of history. Very good, student. So see, there is a correlation in between English and history. So we from the Ayurveda, we can understand the symptoms of an illness. What are, because if we are having a fever, then if we have a fever, then wow, what are the symptoms that we've started to feel some dizzy, our body temperature get rises. So these are the symptoms of illnesses. But then what are the causes? Why we got become ill? That is written, and how we have to do the treatment on that. Everything is written in the Ayurveda. The best example is the Jivika, who was in the court of Bimbisara. Then he has written a Charak Samhita. He has written a Charak Samhita, which gives the detailed information about clinical diagnosis and pharmacy. Means how we have to give the clinical diagnosis, how we have to take care of it, of the people, which is written in a Charak Samhita. Okay. And the Sushruta, you knows very well that he was the famous surgeon. Surgeon means he first Indian doctor who did the operations. So that's a surgeon. He diagnosed various ailments with various kinds of diseases, and he even also find out the remedies, which was written in the Sushruta Samhita, which was written in a Sushruta Samhita. And the importance of this text, that it is written what are the causes of the injuries, what are the causes of the injuries, then how we are supposed to overcome on our injuries, fractures, what are the kind of the types of the fractures were there, what kind of the surgeries were there. Everything means everything is written in the Sushruta book. Then later on this same Sushruta Samhita, gets translated in a Arabic language. In a Arabic language, that book is known as a Kitabe Susud. That is known as a Kitabe Susud. And then the Vagabhatta, he wrote many books on a medical science. And some example of the book which was written by the Vagabhatta, Ashtanga Sangraha, Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita. These are the examples. These are the examples of Kitabe Susut. Then the Buddha Bhikkhu. The name of there is the Bhikkhus. The Siddha Nagarjuna. Buddha Bhikkhu Siddha Nagarjuna. In his book, he describes various chemicals and metal. And the name of that book is a Ratna, sorry, Rasa Ratnakar. In this book, he has explained, he described the various chemicals and metals. Then the mathematics and astronomy. That students that we have know that we introduce zero. We introduce zero to the world. Because of that, there is a we started to get the answer in a decimal point also. So because of that, we have a unit, tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000, lakhs, 10 lakhs, crores, 10 crores. So this kind of things that it is introduced in the world. Okay, then we have a chant, we have a unit, we have a tenth, we have 100. Such kind of unit place get introduced, and it is introduced in India. So we have invented the concept of decimal system. Then this scientist Aryabhatta, he wrote a book, Aryabhatiya. He wrote book Aryabhatiya, which included the formula of various mathematical operations. Right now you have now a plus b the whole square. It means a square plus b square plus 2ab, which was introduced by Aryabhatta. So such kind of various formulas is there. Then the Aryabhatta was also an astronomer. Why? Because he tell to the world. He tell to the world that Earth revolves around the sun. He was the first person. He was the first person that he stated that the earth revolves around the sun. Basically, before that, what we know on, because sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So we are thinking that the sun revolves around the earth. But this concept is a false concept which was proved by Aryabhatta, and he stated that the earth revolves around the sun. Then the Varaha Mihir, he wrote a famous text. Varaha Mihir, that the famous text was the Pancha Siddhantika. That was Pancha Siddhantika. And, and this wrote it in the 6th century. In this book, what is that Indian astronomy, along with the principle of the astronomic of the Greek, Roman, Egyptian civilization, everything is written in this book. Everything is written in this book. Then I would like to tell you the Kannad. Kannad is the name of the person. Kannad is a name of a person who wrote the book. Who wrote the book called Vaishvik Darshan. Who wrote the book Vaishvik Darshan, and it discusses about the Anu and Parmanu. I guess in science you have an atom. Atom is the smallest part of an object. Take the example of a chalk. Chalk is a big one. When we teachers write on the board, that is then the some particles fallen down. So how this is a small part, but in that also smallest part of that object is an atom. In Marathi, Sanskrit, it is Anu and Parmanu. See, we give this concept to the world when India has the ancient period. See, so according to the Kannada, the universal is an full of innumerable object, and the object, it is a nothing, but it has the different forms of anus. Okay, Okay, student, then we will learn our centers of education. See, in our Badlapur, we have a various schools. That our St. Anthony schools is there, Holy Reed School is there, Don Bosco is there, Panna School is there, and Holy Cross is there, Fatima School is there. Means various kinds of schools were there. Schools are there in Badlapur. But in the same way, even in we have the Bombay University, we have a Pune University, Marathwada University, we have a Banaras University, we have a Delhi University. Such kind of universities were there. In the same way, in ancient time also, there are centers of education. We are from that center of education, the way the students they take the education. And the first university and the world famous university, that was Takshashila University. That was Takshashila University. Then the Takshashila. Basically, Takshashila is a name of a city. And that university was in a Takshashila. So that's why this university is known as the Takshashila University. Now, by nowadays, this Takshashila University is in Pakistan, because here we are learning the ancient period of India. And at that time, the Pakistan were a part of India. So that's why in while if you wanted to learn about the ancient history, so definitely we are supposed to learn of some history of Pakistan also and the Bangladesh also, because in a previous time we were one. Okay, so that now today's this Takshashila University, it is in Pakistan, and archaeological evidence said that this Takshashila University was established in a 6th century. It was established in a 6th century. That we have learned about the Jivika, that he was a well-known Vaidya in the court of the Bimbisara, and the contemporary of the Gautam Buddha. And Jivika was a famous Vaidya that we have learned in a medicine topic. So this Jivika has taken his education from the Takshashila University. He was taken his education from this university. Then the founder of the Maurya Empire, that's a Chandragupta Maurya, he also took his education from this university. Then the grammarian Panini, he also took his education from this university. Even the Greek historian, a Greek historian who was along with Alexander, he said that there were no university was exist just like it in the Greece. In the Greece, there were no university like this is existed, which was said by the Greek historian. But that Greek historian was along with the Alexander, a famous Chinese Buddha Bhikkhu, a famous Chinese Buddha Bhikkhu, Fa Han. He came to an India, and even he visited this university. And this university gives education in various subjects, just like Vedic literature, Buddhist philosophy, economics, and logic. What? Vedic literature, Buddhist philosophy, and economics and logic. And the other, even in this, even I have when I used to see the serial of the Maurya Empire. In that Maurya Empire, they have shown Takshashila University and what kind of education they were given. Even they gives the education of economics also, and the earth economics. Then how what kind of strategy got used to fought with the enemies. Such kind of education they were providing, that I have seen in that particular serial. So that a very means all kind of the various kind of education get provided in this university. Then our next university is the Varanasi University. So Varanasi, why they got the this city got the Varanasi? Actually, in this Varanasi consists the name of the tributaries, to name of the two tributary, that is a Varna and Asi. These are the tributaries of the river Ganga. And when that tributary, see here, here I'll tell you. So in this, see here, suppose this is the Ganga river. Here one Varna tributary came and the Asi tributary came, and the city gets situated in between these two tributary. It is known as the Varanasi. It is known as the Varanasi. Okay, students. So what is mean by the Varanasi? Varanasi is a city which is located in between the Ganga's tributaries of Varna and Asi. Okay, students. So that's why in this university, is also an ancient university, and in this university they gives the education of Vedic as well as Jain and Buddhist philosophy. This kind of education get provided in a Varanasi. Then the third one is the Vallabhi. Third one is the Vallabhi. Vallabhi was an ancient city where in a Saurashtra, that is in Gujarat. In a Gujarat, there was a Saurashtra area is there. In that Saurashtra, Vallabhi is an ancient city. Then from the 5th to 8th century, 5th to 8th century, there was an important center. Which one? Vallabhi was an important center of Jain and Buddhist philosophy. Even Yuan Chuang, Buddhist, Chinese Buddha Bhikkhu, Yuan Chuang and Itzing. These two Buddhist Buddha Bhikkhu, they have visited to the Vallabhi. Okay, students. Now our next university is the Nalanda University. This university is the Nalanda University. This remains means the through the archaeological excavation they found this Nalanda University. It is found in a Patna, today's Patna city, which is in Bihar. And Emperor Harshvardhan, they make a way, he gives the donation to this university. Okay, so students, I guess you knows very well, if you wanted to be a doctor, you wanted to be an engineer, and even you wanted to be a teacher in the future, you are supposed to give the entrance test. If you pass in that test, then only you will get the admission in various field. In the same way, in this Nalanda University, if you want admission in a Nalanda University, you all are supposed to give the entrance test. You all are supposed to give the entrance test at the gate of this university. If you are pass in this university, then you will get a admission in that. And even Nalanda University was such a big university, then at a time thousands of students can take education at a time. Which university accommodate thousands of students at a time? Then your answer is to be Nalanda University. Then we have a Vikramshila University. Even this Vikramshila University in today's Bihar, in Bhagalpur, in Bhagalpur. And this university get established by the Dharampal in 8th century. See, Vikramshila, Vikramshila University. Now it was in Bhagalpur. Now today's which is in Bihar, and this university get established by the King Dharmapal in the 8th century. And this Vikramshila University has a 6 viharas, and each having their own separate entrance. Viharas. Viharas means how in our school having the auditorium. There you all are doing the dance practice when the school was there. So that was a very small. Take the example that it is an vihara. but that is a small, that was small vihara, and our auditorium has the two entrance. But in a Vikramshila University has a six viharas, means is a big rooms, and each room has, each vihara has their own separate entrance. Okay, then the Kachi University. Then this Kachi University get established during the time of the Palwa dynasties, which is in 6th century. And currently this Kachi, it is in Tamil Nadu, and it was an important center of education, teaching and learning of Buddha and the Vedic text. So this Kanchi University, it was an center for teaching and learning of Vedic and the Vedic, Jain and the Buddhist text. Then art and literature. So students, we have learned about the various center of education. The center of education was Takshashila University, Varanasi, Vallabhi, Nalanda University, Vikramshila University, and Kanchi University. Then the art and literature. Normally students, I guess you have visited, some students has visited a Karla, that is on the highway of Pune and Mumbai. Okay, so in that Karla, they have a cave. Shruti, I said some students that mostly they have visited a temple of Ekvirai. So, man, behind that there was a cave of a Karla. That cave of a Karla is an example of an ancient period of history. Okay, then in Nashik also we have Ajanta, Ellora, the Stupa at Sachi, cave sculpture. Okay, so these are the example of the art and art and architecture during the time of the ancient period of history. Even see, whatever the Indian architecture, it gets the more, and it reached to the high peak. High peak means gets the more values at the time of the Maurya and the Gupta period. Maurya and the Gupta period. Okay. Then the stone pillars. Then while learning, when we were learning about the Maurya period, then the King Ashoka, he erected various pillars because he wanted to spread the message not to hunt the animals and follow the path of the peace. For this, he has erected a various pillars. Am I correct, students? That we have learned in a lesson number 8. Okay. Then the stupa at Sachi, cave sculpture at Karla, Nashik, Ajanta, and Ellora. This gives that the tradition of advanced. In this advanced technology, we can see this this is stupa at Sachi, the first picture, and the caves at Nashik, the fourth picture. It was built in a 6th century. See, the 6th century. And now the 21st century means after 1600 years, after 1600 years, still they are well in condition. Means what kind of technology they were used to construct this. And even the art of making images, it was developed in a Gupta period. The even you have seen the Kailas temple at Ellora, the temple of Parakkal, Ratha temple, and even the Chaitagriha that we have learned ancient kingdoms of South. These are the best example of the temple, and which was the developed during the time of the Chalukya and a Palwa dynasty. Even the temple of Mahabalipuram, temple of the Mahabalipuram, they are the testimony. Testimony means it is an best example of an architecture. And even the second picture you are seeing now, that a bronze image of a various deities get emerged. Get emerged means the people started to make a bronze image at the time of the Palwa period. They started to make an at the time of the Palwa period. And see, student, this is the third picture. If you will see in this third picture, this is an iron pillar at Mehruli. Iron pillar at Mehruli. See, and still this iron of pillar of Mehruli, which is in Delhi, which was not rusted yet. In our house, if we put any water in our iron goods, so after certain period of time, it started to get rusted. But this iron pillar get get builded and get kept at the time of the ancient period, means before 1600 years back. And in after 1600 years, still it is not rusted, means we can see what kind of advanced technology they were using while doing the metallurgy. Then thus it is clear that it is an ancient Indian culture was very prosperous and advanced culture, prosperous and advanced in the next chapter. So in the next chapter, we will learn about the India's contact, how the India's contact with the foreign countries, how we have developed it. So we will learn in the next lecture. So here we have done with our lesson number 10, Ancient India and Culture.